Hello everyone, welcome to our YouTube channel, Buddha Affirmation. Here every story has a purpose and every lesson is meant to help you grow in a life. So let's dive into a new story that will teach us a deep lesson about gratitude. So let's start the story. A long time ago, in a quiet village surrounded by lush green fields and rolling hills, there lived two farmers, William and Jack. Both were hardworking men, each with a small plot of land. Life was not easy for them, but they made the most of what they had, cultivating their fields and providing for their families. William, however, was often discontent and shook his head and saying, "Life is so unfair. I'll toil from dawn till dusk, yet I barely have enough to feed my family. I don't wear nice clothes, I can't give my children a better life, and every penny I earn slips through my fingers. What is the point of all this hard work?" Jack, on the other hand, had a different outlook. "Life is tough, I won't deny it," he would say with gentle smile, "but I am grateful for what I have. My family sleeps under a roof, and we never go to bed hungry. There is joy in the simple things if you choose to see it." Despite their differences in perspective, the two farmers shared a neighborly bond. They worked hard, endured the season, and lived humble lives. But one fateful day, their lives took an unexpected turn. The storm that changed everything. One evening, as the farmers tended to their fields, dark clouds began to gather. A fierce storm rolled in, bringing heavy rain, thunder, and lightning. The winds howled, tearing through the crops. William groaned in frustration, yelling over the roar of the storm. "Why me? Why now? This storm will destroy everything I have worked for." Jack, though equally worried, tried to remain calm and said in a calm voice, "Storm come and go, though the wind swallow his words. We will replant. The fields will recover. We just have to keep going." But that night, neither farmer knew that the storm had marked the end of their earthly journey. And next day, both William and Jack fell gravely ill, and by morning they had passed away. The next thing William and Jack knew, they were standing in a place unlike any they had ever seen. It was radiant, peaceful, and filled with an otherworldly glow. Before them stood a majestic figure, God Himself, and said, "My children, your time on earth has come to an end, but I am giving you the chance to choose your next life. Tell me what you wish for, and I shall grant it." William, still harboring resentment from his earthly life, stepped forward angrily and said, "God, you gave me a terrible life. I worked like an ox in the field, yet I had nothing to show for it. I could not dress well, eat well, or give my family a better future. Every time I earned something, someone else took it away. My life was no better than that of beasts." God listened patiently and said, "What do you wish for in your next life?" William's face lit up with determination. "I want a life where I never have to give anything to anyone. I want money to come to me from all directions without me having to work for it. That is what I want." God nodded solemnly and said, "So be it." Then, turning to Jack, God asked, "And what about you, my child? What do you wish for?" Jack bowed his head respectfully and said, "God, you blessed me with a good life. I had enough land to feed my family, a roof over my head, and a loving home. For all of that, I am deeply grateful." And then he paused, and his voice tinged with regret. "But there is one thing I wish I could have done differently. Sometimes strangers or neighbors in need would come to my door asking for food, and there were days when I had so little that I could not help them. It broke my heart to see them live empty-handed. In my next life, I wish to have enough so that no one ever leaves my door hungry." God smiled warmly and said, "So be it." William and Jack were both reborn in the same village, but their lives could not have been more different. William, who had wished for wealth without having to give, was reborn as a beggar. Everywhere he went, people gave him money, food, and clothes. But his wish had a twist. He could never give anything to anyone. not even a kind word or smile. His life was filled with possessions, but his heart felt empty. Jack, on the other hand, was reborn as the wealthiest and most respected man in the village. His fields were lush and abundant. His home was warm and inviting, and his door was always open to anyone in need. People came to him not just for food, but for advice, support, and comfort. And then one day, William, now a beggar, sat outside Jack's grand house. He watched as people enter with worry on their faces and left with smile, their hand full of food and their hearts full of gratitude. Why is Jack so blessed? William thought bitterly. Why do people love him so much? While I sit here with nothing but my misery. Finally, unable to contain his frustration, William approached Jack and asked, why are you always giving to people? Does not it bother you to part with your wealth? Don't you worry that one day you will have nothing left? Jack looked at William with compassion and said, giving does not take away from me, it adds to my life. When I see someone leave my home with a full stomach and hopeful heart, I feel richer than ever. True wealth is not in what we keep for ourselves, it is in what we share with others. William was silent for a while and reflecting on Jack's words. That night, as William lay under the stars, he thought about his life. He realized that his wish to avoid giving had left him isolated and empty, while Jack's wish to serve others had brought him joy and fulfillment. For the first time, William whispered a prayer and said, God, I see now that I was wrong. Please teach me how to give, even if I have little. Help me find the joy that Jack has found. This story teaches that life is shaped not by what we have, but by what we give. William's selfish wish left him unfulfilled, while Jack's generous heart brought him true happiness. It is easy to focus on what we lack and feel resentful, but when we shift our perspective, practice gratitude, and use what we have to help others, we find deeper meaning and joy. In the end, it is not about how much we possess, it is about how much love, kindness, and generosity we share. Thanks for watching the video. If you enjoyed this video, hit like button. And for more such stories, subscribe to our channel. Thank you and stay positive.